Okay, before we talk about agentic AI, I do think that we should talk about audio stuff with AI, because obviously you can also do this locally. So in the next video, I want to show you how you can transcribe spoken words. We will use Whisper from OpenAI. Then I want to show you a local text-to-speech solution. This thing is called Fish Audio, got rebranded to Open Audio, and you can type in text and you get audio back. You can even clone your own voice or voices from different persons. This is uncensored, so you can also clone voices of like Elon Musk if you want to. And lastly, we talk about AI music generation. I want to show you a closed source tool because this is right now really great. But then obviously I want to give you an open source alternative. We can run this in Confi. So see you in the next video. In this video I want to talk about a local speech-to-text model. If we come actually in artificial analysis, you see here this leaderboard. OpenAI is at the top of the leaderboard. But this thing right here is closed sourced. But then you see Whisper Large, and Whisper is actually completely open source. And maybe you already saw Whisper in some of our applications. If we use basically anything LLM, you already saw it. You can tell the things that you want to tell, and anything LLM will transcribe them. But of course it's not really optimal to use this over anything LLM. Maybe you want to upload, for example, a YouTube video or videos that you have on your local machine or audio files or something similar. And you want to do this in a really simple interface. I want to show you actually the easiest way how you can use this. We will use Pinocchio. You already know Pinocchio Computer. I would assume that you have installed Pinocchio Computer right now on your machine. You can actually just come into Pinocchio, so just open it up as you have already learned. You come to the verified scripts, and here you need to find for Whisper. I have Whisper already installed, but what you can do is to simply press on Whisper, and then you can download this. Because I have already done this, like I told you, I will basically come back into not to Discover but Home, and here you see that I have Whisper already installed. If I press on Whisper, this thing will get opened up right now in a nice interface. This will be a great interface and we can use it really easy. By the way, this is roughly 9 GB big, but this works really fast on a machine, even with low VRAM. And here we are in the interface. I have this personally a German, but of course you will use this in English. If you come here on settings, normally you can use the language English, but I have a bug right now and I don't want to reinstall this. But I do think this works really easy for you. You can come here on File, so that I simply means file, and here you can drag and drop some files where you want to make a transcript out of. Here you have the model. You will actually use Whisper Large version 2, because this is the strongest model and also this works on relatively low VRAM. These are the default settings. Then the language, we leave them at automatic. The data format, we also leave them at the standard settings. You can press here if you want to translate basically your uploaded files into English or something similar. You can press here if you want to add timestamps, and you also get more parameters. If you press on them, you can basically give a probability threshold and a lot more, but I would strongly recommend you to leave the settings as they are. Here you see that we use a float 16 model. This is more than enough. You don't need to use the gigantic float 32 model. So leave all the settings how they are, even the temperature and a lot more. You don't need to worry about anything right here. Everything that you need to do is to simply upload your files right here. And in order to show you this, I will simply upload a video file that I have created for this course. This was one of my previous videos. So basically a section overview of the AI videos from the last section. Everything that you can do is to basically scroll down, and right now we can simply press here to make our transcript. Boom. This will take right now, I do think, a few seconds, maybe 10 or 20. You see, it works relatively fast. We are at 12 seconds and we have 75%. And there we are. And here you see basically the whole transcript, and we have even the timestamps included in just 15 seconds. So you see, this works really great, and you need to think of it that this is a video. So you see, this is basically an MP4 file. So this seems to work really great. The next thing that you can do is, of course, you can also throw YouTube videos in here, and you can make here a whole transcript with timestamps. This can also be relatively cool. But you don't have to work locally if you want to deal with YouTube videos, because I guess that they are not really private for you. Then the next thing is also that you can use this microphone. If you press on record, you can simply read out the stuff that you are telling. The first thing that you need to do is, of course, to make sure that you use the right mic here. I have this microphone included. Then we press record. And right now, of course, we need to make a simple test, because obviously I have to test something. We press stop. Here you can listen this. And right now, of course, we need to make a simple test because obviously I have to test something. Yeah, this first sentences wasn't great. Let's just see if this thing gets also this. We leave everything as the default settings. Now we press right here and we will get obviously our transcript. This was really fast. And here are basically the things that I have said. Then the next thing is of course that you can also do text-to-text translation. You can simply drag and drop, for example, a German text and make it into English. This works really easy, just throw the text in here and you will get the translation. And if you have something with background music, you can even extract the background music. And I do think this is everything that you need to know about Local Whisper. So I do think this is really great. Just think about it. If you have, for example, a file on your machine, maybe you have a whole video of a sales call or an internal meeting or something like this, or the audio file of an internal meeting, you can simply throw it into Whisper and nothing will leave your machine. Then you have the whole transcript and you can go on and, for example, use an LLM to extract the most important information. So I do think this is really great, especially if nothing can leave your machine. Give this a shot. In this video we want to do it vice versa. We want to make text to speech actually. And we want to do this also completely local on our machine. If we come on artificial analysis on these leaderboards, obviously we got these closed source models. And yeah, they are really great. But also here you find some open source models. For example, this thing down here, this Kokoro is completely open source. And if you come on GitHub, you also find this project right here. It's relatively new. The rankings are also relatively great, but I have to tell you, I don't love this audio model that much. Yeah, it works, but especially if you want to use different languages, yeah, it seems to don't work that great sometimes. I want to give you an alternative that works, at least in my personal experience, a tiny bit better than this model. I don't know why, but it seems for me that it works better. The alternative that I want to show you is this fish speech. This fish speech got rebranded, and right now they call it Open Audio. I do think this is maybe the better name. And here you also see a few cool things here. You have a lot of speech control, so you can type in things like angry, sad, excited, surprised, and so on. You also have advanced emotions, like unhappy, anxiety, and similar things. You can use tone markers, and you can use special audio effects, like laughing or juggling. And also the models, they are relatively fine. And if you come right here, you see that this model has basically a lot of stars on GitHub. Even more than this model. Even if this model is higher, at least in the rankings, the people seem to like this model more. If we actually come on these rankings right here, you see, of course, if we come on leaderboards, that the first models here are always these closed models. And then the first open source model is basically this Kokoro, followed by this model. But I do think that this model, this fish speech, makes the most fun. It works really nice. And the coolest thing is that you also find this in Pinocchio. In Pinocchio, this thing is called Open Audio. So you can basically simply press on these and install it. And you see this is a multilingual text-to-speech and voice cloning model. So you can also clone your voices, and it supports English, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, French, German, Arabic and Spanish. I have also tested this with German and it seems to work relatively nice. I have already installed this, but if you don't have installed this, simply click on it, follow the instructions and then you are done relatively fast. What I want to do is, of course, I want to press on Open Audio and I want to show you this in action because this seems to work relatively good. Let's just wait for a second. This thing should open up relatively fast and it also works with CUDA. That's why it works also really fast on my machine, even with low VRAM. The files are all in all 13 gigabytes big, but they work seamlessly on my PC. Right now this thing popped up and you see this is of course fish audio and we use once again a radio interface. And I don't know why, but this thing is always white and I hate it. That's why we come on settings and we use obviously of course the dark mode. Everything that you have to do right here is to simply type in the text that you want. Down here you find the advanced configurations. Iterating prompt length, I would leave them at the default. Then the maximum tokens per batch, 0 means no limit. We simply leave this at 0, but if you have short batches, you can simply go with these batches however you like. If you have really short sentences, use here also shorter context windows so that the generation will be faster, but I want to have this at unlimited. Then the top P. I had a tiny bit better experiences by increasing it just a tiny bit. So we throw this at 0.83. Then the repetition penalty, we leave them how they are. The temperature, it depends on what stuff you want to create, but between 0.7 and 1 works great. You can obviously increase it a tiny bit for a bit more variety. And the seed, we leave it at 0, so this means a randomized seed. But if you find a seed that works for you, leave them at fixed. You understand the seed of diffusion models. If you find a voice that you really love, remember the seed and always use the same seed. But I just want to show you a few different voices here. Then of course you can also use reference audio, this is for voice cloning. But first we need to test the input text in order to see what we can generate here. Let's just make the first test. I simply put in the stuff that I want right here. Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds. We press generate. Right now we will get a generation. The first generation will always take a little bit longer to generate, but this is relatively fast. Most of the time just a few seconds. Boom, there you have it. And right now we simply see what we get.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds.
Seems to be perfect. Once again.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds.
Boom, I do think this is great. If we press generate once again, the generation will be a tiny bit faster and we will get a different voice because we will use a different seed. Boom, only 5 or 6 seconds for generating this.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds.
Also this a perfect generation.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds.
I do think this is really great, especially because you can run this completely locally on your machine, uncensored. Let's just test an emotion. We want to type in angry at the beginning here. Hello, I'm testing this voice, how natural it sounds. But I am a bit angry. And also here we type in angry. And now we simply press generate. Okay, I made a typo. Excuse me. I think I have to regenerate this.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, but I am a bit angry.
Obviously we need to use angry. Maybe we get a bit emotion out of this then. Because Fish Audio tells me that we should use angry right this. Then we can also test sad if we want. If we leave the stuff in these brackets, it will not be read it out loud, but we should simply trigger the emotion.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, but I am a bit angry.
Yeah, maybe you can hear the angry voice, I'm not so sure. Let's just see how sad sounds. Sad, but I am a bit sad. I think I need to cry. Generation took around 8 seconds.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, but I'm a bit sad. I think I need to cry.
Was not perfect. Yeah, the emotions could be a bit better.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, but I am a bit sad. I think I need to cry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but the emotions could be a bit better. Let's just make another test. We want to include a bit of laughing. Let's just give this a shot. So hello, then we want to laugh, for example, 2 times. Everything should be exciting, so no longer sad. And I love it. It is fun. And maybe also at the end a little bit of laughing. Let's just see.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, and I love it. It is fun.
Yeah, we can hear a little bit of laughing here.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, and I love it. It is fun.
It is okay. Let's just leave it this way. What I want to test right now is of course the reference audio. In order to get the reference audio, we need to either give a reference ID if you already have made something, but what I want to do of course is to simply record the audio myself right here. I do think we only need like 5 to 10 seconds, at least they tell us this, so I will simply record myself and see how all of this is working. In order to do that we use of course my mic here and then we press record. I do think this will be a nice little test. I tried to make just 5, 6, 7 or 8 seconds of audio. We press stop, we have 8 seconds. I do think this should work. We don't use any ID, and what we are doing right now is we simply try to make my voice here. So I exclude all of this. Hello, I'm testing this voice to see, and so on. Let's just press generate and see if this thing speaks better English than I am speaking, because obviously I have an awful accent.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, and I love it. It is fun.
One more test.
Hello, I am testing this voice to see how natural it sounds, and I love it. It is fun.
I do think this works, and I do think it's like similar to my voice. Maybe not exactly my voice, but relatively similar. And remember, everything locally with just 8 seconds of my voice. I do think this is really great and obviously extremely fast. So I would guess you should give fish speech audio a chance. In this video I want to talk about AI music, but we do this really briefly, because here the closed source models are a lot better. Here for example you'll find Suno. And Suno is one of the best models if you want to generate music. I simply sign in because I have already an account. I just want to show you how this is working, and then I'll show you how you can make similar things locally. So this right here is Suno AI. Here you can generate music with the newest models, and I just want to give you a quick introduction how all of this is looking. Here are some songs that I have generated, but if we come on home, you can filter through the songs that other people have generated, for example with the newest versions, and the version 5 is right now really great. Here you see some examples that are for me here. Let's just take a look at this. I do really think that this is music that you can eventually play in the radio. I don't think that a lot of people will grasp that this is AI generated. Let's just take also a look at this second clip right here.
Now it's white noise, lost between your words and my voice. Try to call, but it rings too long. Every tone feels like something's wrong. Your signal's soft, I can barely hear. The distance harms what I used to hold near. Can you hear me through the static haze? Breaking up in 1,000 ways. Every word's a ghost, I can't replay. Our love's gone quiet, just a signal fade.
Damn, I actually always impressed if I look at these music generations. I do think I want to add this to my playlist. These songs, they are really great right now.
Tonight, fall with me in the ring of pride. Spin with me through it. Never wanna leave this thing.
Yeah, this AI generated music, at least if you use the state-of-the-art models, is really great. So just take a look if you want to. But right now I want to show you how you can generate music locally. Obviously you can do this in Comfy UI. You can simply come on browse templates, then you can simply scroll down a tiny bit. And here you can simply come on audio, and here you see that you can use stable audio, you can use ACE step. And from ACE step you have 3 different models. You have text to song, text to instrumental music, and you can also do a bit of editing. Let's just take a look right here. I guess that the instrumental is somehow okay, but obviously it's not at the quality from the state-of-art models. If you use text to song, it gets even worse. But I still think this is great because, yeah, you can run it locally completely private. If you want to use this model, simply press on them. You can download them. They are actually not that big, but I am like not that much into music generation, but obviously you can give this a try. You can simply download the model, type in the prompt that you want to generate and give this a shot. Let me know what you think of AI music. So in this section we talked about AI audio stuff. We started with transcriptions. The easiest thing to transcribe an audio file is to simply download Pinocchio. You should already have this. Then you use, of course, Whisper from OpenAI because this is a really great tool. And here you can simply upload entire videos, audio files. You can give links to YouTube videos, but most likely this will be like internal things that you have running. For example, sales calls and similar things, stuff that you don't want to send out into the cloud. Or if you have an audiobook and want to make it into a book for you. This could be really practical. Then we talked about the same technology but vice versa. We made, of course, audio from text. And in order to do this, we used a local text-to-speech model. It was Fish Audio, rebranded to OpenAudio. And we can also use this inside of Pinocchio, and it's really easy. You can simply click on it and you use it. You type in the words that you want to have and you will get them as audio. You can try to make, for example, entire audiobooks out of these. You can also try to control the voice a tiny bit with laughing or different emotions, but I have to tell you this is not perfect. At least not yet. You can even clone your own voice or the voice of other persons. You just have to give 5 to 10 seconds of audio material and then it should work. And lastly, we talked about AI music. If you use a closed tool like Suno, you can create stunning music. This is music that nobody will guess that it's AI generated. It's really good. And if you want to do similar things locally, right now at this minute you can use ComfUI. The models are relatively small, but obviously the quality is not there yet. I hope that we get some open source models that are as great as the closed models, at least in the future. So I do think you have learned some stuff in this section, and I want to tell you what learning is. Learning is same circumstances but different behavior. If this stuff makes sense for you, try it. Only then you have learned. If this doesn't make sense for you, so if you don't need it, don't do it. That's also somehow learning. You have learned that you don't need it. And I want to tell you once again what really good learners do. Obviously they learn together, because more people always know more than few people. And we could reach this by you sharing this course. If you share this course and also the other person gets value out from this course, they will describe the value to you because you have told them. Thank you for that, and I'll see you of course in the next section. And in the next section we talk about agentic AI, so AI agents and AI automations. So see you of course in the next one.